let me show you real quickly. You see that? That sucks. That sucks. So if you've been following me for any time frame, you do know that I've had quite a few issues with my black tank. I started off having an issue with the valve getting stuck. Later I found that my black tank flush was leaking, and then at the very top of the tank it had kind of started separating, the plastic did. So this is some old footage, but I wanted to post it because I found a solution for fifth wheels, travel trailers that have enclosed underbelly. So stay tuned for the next video, but I'm gonna pretty much explain what I have to do basically. So in this video, you'll see that the seals that go around the pipes to keep it from leaking obviously failed. I think when they got reinstalled, when they replaced my tank, it got pinched somehow, and therefore water was actually leaking into my underbelly. Normally it would leak into the plumbing, and then when you go to open up your cap for your sewer, it comes out, which is nasty. But nevertheless, mine was leaking in the underbelly, and you'll see that. So let's go ahead and get into the video. This footage is probably about 6 months old, if not longer. So yeah, like I said, I was kind of sick that day, and I just wanted to show you this footage because I want to also do a follow-up on how to get this done a lot easier. So let's get into the video. Typically on fifth wheels, your dump for your black tank is going to be 3 inches. So I got this size. Now my gray tank and black tank are basically side by side. So what I want to do is, we're really close to a camping road. I may go ahead and replace the seals on that side since I'm so close, and I'm going to put some lube on the valves too, and from there hopefully I shouldn't have to deal with my black tanks for the rest of the time I own this RV. I've already replaced the black tank. I'm hoping that I have good luck from this point on out. I've done videos on this in the past, but I strongly recommend, if you want the easiest way to clean your black tank and to minimize on how many times you have to black tank flush this, because typically you have to open and close the valves a few times. It's not recommending you do that, but I close the valve because you need that surge to get everything off of the floor. And because I'm going to be leaving the valve open for a few hours, I want everything out of that tank, because I don't want anything to harden or anything like that. So this is the best way to do it. So like I said, I got to go ahead and go outside now and open the valve because it's probably about a little over 3/4 full now. That water is like almost 100% clean now. You see that? Nothing's coming out. So I'm gonna do one more dump. I have Dawn soap in there. So I'm gonna give a shout out to Beckley's. So the manufacturer had all these wires just thrown on the underbelly, and they actually graciously hung them up, as you can see up here. So it actually gives me a lot more room to work under this area. So here is the valve that I was talking about. You see right there? So you can kind of see where it's leaking from. Get a little closer for you. So you can see, I'm gonna zoom in. You see that water leak? So it looks like it's leaking from here and then leaking down. So I'm gonna take this all apart, this whole thing right here, and all I'm gonna do is just unbolt these 4 bolts around it, and then I'm gonna slide it out, okay? And then from there we'll be able to inspect the rubber seals on the inside and see if that's why it's leaking. Now this tank is completely empty now, but what I also have to do is I have to, before I put all this back together, the only way this leaks is if there's water inside here. So I have to basically fill this tank back up and then let the water sit here and see if it leaks again. And if it does leak, that means I have to replace this one. Now, as I said inside, I have a camping road not far from where I'm at. I could potentially do some service on this side too, and maybe replace the seals while I'm already here, because I mean it's not that hard to get to the side of the RV, because the gray tank, that's the gray tank there, and that's the black tank here. And while I'm down here, check this out. I may need to put some tape along the sides of this, because this isn't sticking anymore either. So this is the heat pad that they give you from the manufacturer. So I may need to probably pull it down and make sure it's on there correctly, because it's kind of sagging a little bit. So just something you might want to go ahead and check while you're down here. But if you're doing any work on your RV, even if the dealer needs to come under here, I mean, this is really easy to get to, so it shouldn't be that much more time for them to take that apart. So all you need is a tool set like this. And you also need this. So I'm using a drill too. So I mean, it's just good to have the basic tools when you have an RV. It's easy to get the underbelly down. Mine has just been screwed in, so it's really easy to get this down, and I just kind of rolled it, as you can see on the side here, to give me some space to check this out. So yeah, I mean, if you have a Keystone Cougar like this, or really any Keystone product, they use about the same stuff, so that's what you'll see. So luckily for me, all this stuff is hidden. It is a good idea to go ahead and spray a bunch of lubrication on all this stuff too. That way, you know, you don't have any issues with the mechanisms. So let's go ahead and get this valve undone, and we will go from there. I have the valve out, so I just have like a regular style. So you don't have to replace the rod for this. I just wanted to see what it looked like, but I just noticed that they put a lot of grease on this thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, thank you, I'm going to have my wife run out and get some silicone paste. That's what my tech said to get, and put that on the seals. Now, I don't see the seals on here, so I'm assuming that they're still up there. But, oh no, actually, I'm sorry, I took them off. It looks like this is the one that's damaged. I don't know which side that was on, but yeah, you can see the lip of it right there is pretty much like bent down. So that's pretty much why I have a little small leak coming out of that side. So I'm gonna go ahead and replace both of them, and I'm gonna put it back up. But like I said, guys, this was not a hard job. I'm just gonna put a little bit of silicone paste on the new seals that I have. Let me bring them closer so you can see what I'm talking about here. Hold on. So you see the lip of this one? Hopefully you can see it. This one's a little bit better. This one's actually, I could use this one again, but the lip on this one right there is like bent down. So that's why I got leakage. So water will find a way out. And you know, what I'm gonna do is, I mean, I hate to do this, but I have to clean all this up. I have to clean up around this area up here. I also have to clean up this too, because you can kind of see inside of there, there's like a lot of debris. So that's all my family's, you know what, so really nasty stuff. But I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up, and my wife's gonna go get me some silicone paste, and then from there we're gonna go ahead and put all this back together. So let me show you how the seals are gonna go in, but I'm gonna clean this up first, and I'm gonna show you how you gotta put the new seals back on. Alright, so what I was gonna do was, I was gonna see if this would like stay secure in here, and I just found out that this does not like secure, like it just slips on. So the best way to do this is to use some bearing grease or something like that. Silicone paste is good, just to have it just to stick up there good enough, and that's the only thing that secures it on here. So once you open and close this valve, that's the seal that keeps the water from leaking, these two things right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and get some bearing grease. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a little bit better, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get this all back together. Alright, so I ran into a problem. So I thought I could put the seals on the valve, and you cannot do it that way because they're not secure on the valve if you put them on there. They are secure, however, on the piping. So the problem I'm running into now is, how can I get this in between those two pipes without having to take something else down? So I need to think about this again. I don't have much space here. The only thing I can see, I just undid this right here, but you know, they pretty much have this like glued in there, so I can't really move it. So I don't want to really bend this pipe too much more than I already have. And yeah, I have to figure out a way to get it in between these two pipes without the seals coming off. That's the problem I'm running into. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but this ground is getting a little bit colder by the minute, and I need to get this back together quickly. So this is going to be tough. I think that if you have the skill and the patience, you want to save money, this is easy to do. But the hard part about it is trying to figure out some of the small details you don't think about. So I have a bar right, where's that? I lost it. But I have a big crowbar. I can probably bend it just enough to keep the pipes from, you know, of course, warping, and then I should be able to squeeze the valve in between these two seals without them coming off. So that's why you're going to need a little bit of silicone grease. I'm going to add a little bit of silicone grease to the valve now. That way it kind of slides in between these two pipes. So when I took it off, the rubber seals fell off. So that's the problem I'm going to have to really figure out, getting this all back together. So once I do that, I'll check back in. So we finally got it to work. I had my friend Ryan help us. Be sure to check out his channel. And my wife helped me. So she had to pull the tank this way. He had to pull this way. And we got everything to work. At this point, I'm just filling up the tank with water. It's like 3/4 full. So there's no leaks, which is good. Normally at about 1/4 full, it started leaking. So I'm gonna leave this like this for a little bit longer. I'm gonna get it completely filled up to the very top. And I'm gonna let it sit like this. But yeah, this is a hard job, guys. This is extremely hard. There's not a lot of room here. And what happened was, whenever you try to get the valve back in between the pipes, your rubber seals would fall off. And of course, if you wedge this in too hard, you would damage the new one. So you really need to like properly remove this tank. I don't know if you really have to remove it, but it's just not easy to get in between here. So like I said, this is a hard job. If you have to do this job, I feel sorry for you. So we got it done. That was a tough job. So what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna need a second person, and you're gonna need a crowbar, a long one. And what you're gonna have to do is you're gonna have to bend the railing that the tank sits on, and you'll be able to push the tank just far enough away to slide it in. But you're gonna have to make sure that you don't damage those seals. So make sure you have them secure on the pipes, and then squish it together, and then hopefully, you know, you don't have any issues. And obviously you're gonna have to bolt it back up, and then you're gonna have to test it to make sure it's not leaking. But I hope this video was helpful. Stay tuned for the next video. I'm going to do something to make this so much easier, I promise. All right, see you soon.